in the moment every day until we reveal it. It's going to be a process of revealing Mashiach in this world. But it starts really and only really with you working on yourself and together helping each other do that. I'm going to get into it. I don't want to talk too much. So the inspiration of this this program comes from a Hasidic discourse from the Alter Rebbe Shneur Zalman of Le'adi. Here's a low-tech way of sharing the screen, okay? That's how, it's a very, very short Hasidic mimer from the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, who was a spiritual grandchild of the Baal Shem Tov, who founded the Hasidic movement. So this short mimer was what Lubavitchers call pre-Petersburg. It means before the Alter Rebbe published the Tanya, he wrote and taught these very short discourses. They're very concise, they're very dense, but they sum up really who we are and what we're doing here. This particular discourse is entitled Simcha, which is also joy. And I'm going to summarize this in just a couple of minutes. Basically, he says that all living things, plants, animals, and humans, as part of their DNA, is joy, simcha, all the time. It's always there. It's not something we have to reach for or obtain. It's something we have to reveal. Plants and animals are in that state all the time. Think about that. Animals are always perpetually living their purpose, knowing that their true source comes from God, and they're always in a sense of a place of joy and serenity. That does not mean that they don't experience pain. It doesn't mean they don't experience fear, panic, tragedy. But there's a difference. There's a big difference between animals and humans. The animal, let's take a deer. It's running from a predator. Let's say a tiger. I know tigers and deer probably don't live in the same place, but let's go with that for a second. A deer, when it's being chased by a predator, is going to have the famous deer in headlights. It's going to run like crazy, and it's going to do its best. It's going to go into fight or flight. Its neurochemicals are going to go wacky. Its hormones are going to shoot through their body, and they're going to flee, or fight. And they're not going to do well if they fight or freeze, so they're going to run. Now, the difference between the animal and the human is that if the deer gets away, it turns the corner, it loses the tiger. In a few minutes, the deer will calm down, relax, and go back to eating berries somewhere. It will not say, "Oh, that tiger. I'm never going to talk to that tiger again. Do you know what that tiger tried to do to me? I will never forgive that tiger, and I'm going to be angry at that tiger my whole life." They don't do that. Because animals are always in a sense, a place of serenity. They know their purpose. They have to survive. They get around the corner, and if they make it, they let it go. And they never stop, which what the Alter Rebbe says, they never stop the divine energy that's flowing through them, because they are always in that state of knowing who they are and what their purpose is. Humans, on the other hand, can block their energy, voluntarily or involuntary. Sometimes we know we're getting angry and blocking our purpose and who we are, for example, and sometimes we're unaware of our unconscious programs. And that's where meditation comes in, because we could, let me see if we could end this class right now if this was just a Torah shiur. I summarized the mimer. It was a short mimer. We could say, oh wow, we're different from the animals, but we should learn from them and learn to let go, and that's how we could live in peace and joy. And you might get a little inspired, go home and say, oh, that's interesting, and then maybe do another mitzvah or two. The difference between learning that, which is a mitzvah, we just did a mitzvah, we learned Torah, we got a little inspired, hopefully, and what we're going to do today is we're going to take the messages of this, and by the way, very important for Hedva, because it says that the key to being in Hashem's presence is Oz v'Hedva b'mkomo. Strength and joy are in his presence. That strength is not just physical strength. That strength that the Rebbe is talking about is inner strength, self-confidence. When you have self-confidence of who you are and what your purpose is in life, and joy, combine those two, you will live in the presence of God in peace and serenity. And we could always get there if we remember who we are. Unfortunately, we forget who we are because of the years of who we were when we were growing up, the narratives that we tell ourselves. Here's an example. So we go back to the deer. Besides the deer saying, oh, I'm not going to trust that tiger anymore, some deer, if they were humans, might say, you know what? I'm so stupid. My mother told me not to look for berries in that field. She told me that it was dangerous. It was a dangerous neighborhood. And I didn't listen to my mother. And I almost got killed today because I couldn't resist those berries. And when I went and I got those are the best berries anywhere. And I ate too many of those berries. And I gained a little bit of weight. And I looked terrible. And I almost gained so much weight I didn't get away from that tiger. And these are the stories that unconsciously we could be telling ourselves just from our programs of how we grew up in life. And that was only because our parents were human beings too, or our teachers were human beings. But we were children. And when we're children, our unconscious is absorbing everything. So if we get messages like, we're not smart enough, we don't look the way we're supposed to look, we're not acting the way we're supposed to, we're not good, we're not worthy, those are not true narratives. But we unconsciously walk around with them. So the goal is to get in touch and aware of what is your program, what are your programs, and how can I change them. And one way is to daily, if you can, meditate similar to a way we're going to meditate today. And when you do that, you slowly rewire your unconscious. But it's more than just learning it like we just did, because that's only intellect. A little inspiration, that's the heart and the body feeling it. But we really want to live it. So to live it, you really have to try to get inside yourself, become aware, and then make changes. And those changes are different for every person because we've all had different experiences. It may take time for some people. It may take many years, and that's okay. It's not about whether or not you get there. It's more about if you're really working on it and trying to improve it, and there's no place to get to because there's always more room to grow. But the hope is that you feel more and more peace in your life, change the energy of yourself and the people around you, because those are the only people you could change is yourself. So that's the goal. We work on ourselves, we do it together and help each other, and then hopefully that permeates to your outside world. Let's see Now, before we meditate, I'm just going to explain how we meditate and the purpose behind the program of the meditation. The first thing it's going to start with is breathing. And the breathing is so critical, because what we're trying to do is to tap into our autonomic nervous system. And it's not easy to do that. Most people can't say, I'm going to lower my heart rate. I'm going to lower my blood pressure. It's too high, with their mind alone. Some people, but there's an ability to do this. And breathing is that bodily function that we do both unconsciously and consciously. What do I mean? If you're not thinking about breathing, you're still breathing. And if you weren't, you'd know it within a couple of seconds. So therefore, you could go about your whole day not conscious that you're breathing, but you know you are, because as soon as you hold your breath, you become aware. But breathing can also be conscious, and it's a very easy bodily function to become aware and conscious of. So if you count how long you inhale, you count how long you hold it, you count how long you exhale, and you count how long you rest, and then you do it again, you are going to affect your autonomic nervous system. Other things will follow. So you will slowly, after a few minutes of doing it, probably lower your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, lower the stress hormones, and also, very importantly, change your brain waves. In our normal state of the day, we're in a beta brainwave state. If you're in stress, you're in high beta. And that's fine when you need to be alert and doing the things you're doing. It's okay to be in high beta if you're running from a tiger, but most of the time we're not. Right? Most of the time we're not. So lowering the brain waves to alpha is a way of connecting with your unconscious. So you don't always control the thoughts that you have, but your thoughts affect you. And your thoughts create emotions, and emotions are felt in the body. So the idea is to change your thoughts and become aware sometimes where your other thoughts are coming from. If you wake up in the morning and you feel a little stress or anxiety, know that you're getting signals from your body that are kind of automatic. And then what it will do, you will start to think of thoughts equal to the emotion that you're feeling. So if you're feeling fearful or feeling angry about something, you're going to get a whole list of things that probably make you fearful and angry. And the idea is to jump in there, sort of be someone outside yourself jumping in and say, no, I don't want to be there, so I'm going to change it. And it's hard to do it with your mind alone. It's possible. But if you change your breathing, or you do a little exercise, anything that kind of mixes up that feeling, you get a better feeling in your body, then you're going to get other thoughts. In this meditation, though, we're going to think about the real truths of who we are based on Hasidic teachings. After we get into, hopefully, a alpha brainwave state. And everybody's different. I don't know when you're in it. I don't always know when I'm in it. But when you feel more relaxed, it's likely you're there. And some people go into what's even deeper, which is a theta brainwave state. And theta is that little twilight period where it's right before you fall asleep or right before you wake up. So the best times to do this meditation is really very early in the morning and or late at night, when you can get when you're tired and relaxed. If you could stay awake during it, then you can sometimes get some mental imagery that is very teaches you a lot about yourself. So let's do it. Okay. So what I want you to do is be hopefully in a very quiet, comfortable place, not going to be disturbed for about 20 minutes or so. I'm not going to play music right now. There's two reasons for that. One, it's during the Sefira, some people are very careful about not listening to music. The type of music I would play is probably not a problem for that. But so the other reason is, though, I'd only be able to do a very low-tech version, how I would play music at the same time. I did some things with sharing screens and playing through the computer, and maybe next time. But for now, we're going to do the breathing. You're going to try to listen to my instructions. You could do this sitting up. I actually want you to sit up straight, and let's try not to be disturbed if possible. Don't do anything else. And if again, I guess my internet is going pretty well, so it's not a problem. But if that changes, I will find out from my technical people working with me. Please don't break out of the space you're in, because I really hope to get you as relaxed as possible. And then we'll see where the meditation goes. And after that's over, we'll discuss it and see if what kind of experiences we had. Okay, so I do want to mention one thing before we start. This program is dedicated in memory of Ari Gold, a very close friend of our family from Vacation Village. And he was a hero to many people, a good friend. He was taken from us too young, but he was a very special person who actually came to my classes a couple of times in Vacation Village. And yeah, so thoughts of him and his will hopefully come to me during this meditation, inspire me to help other people reach their potential and become new people, happier people, and people who will help others too, which is who Ari was.